Hello everyone. We've made this video primarily for our international audience and we're dividing it into two parts. Our first part is going to be focusing upon the cultural heritage sites within Pakistan, basically the places we would recommend the international community to visit and acquaint themselves with. And the second portion of our video is going to be dedicated to the visa application process. Let's inform you about some places in Pakistan and actually show you how to get there. So we'll start with locations in Sindh, possibly make our way to Punjab. From Punjab, perhaps we could go to Azad Kashmir. Azad Kashmir can be followed by Gilgit. Gilgit could be followed by KPK, and then we would end in the largest province of Pakistan, which is Balochistan, after which you can come back to Sindh. The first tourist site we would recommend you to visit is in Sindh, and it is called Mohenjo-daro. Now, Mohenjo-daro has become a UN heritage site, and it became so in 1980. It was built in the 26th century BC, but it was only discovered in 1921, and excavation here has gone on until 1964. So that is basically until 5 decades ago actually. So after you leave Sindh, you can actually head towards Punjab, and in Punjab, in Lahore, we have the Shalimar Gardens. Now, the Shalimar Gardens were built by Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan. The construction started in 1641 AD and it lasted for an entire year. And in 1981, it became a UNESCO heritage site. From Punjab, you can then move on to Azad Kashmir. In Azad Kashmir, we have the Neelam Valley, which is possibly one of the most beautiful places in all of Pakistan. The district of Neelam Valley is situated 43 kilometers away from Muzaffarabad, and the area itself is famous for minerals and its fruits including apples, apricots, and plums. Then we would recommend you to move on to Gilgit. In Gilgit, we have the Naltar Valley. Now, this has a forested village which is basically renowned for its wildlife and its mountain scenery. A lot of ski competitions are also held here under the supervision of the Pakistan Armed Forces, and its main village is called Nomal, and a road from Nomal goes to the Silk Route in China. From here, you can move towards Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and you will find a site very close to Peshawar called Takht-e-Bhai. Takht in Sanskrit means well, and Bhai means on a high surface. It is believed that Buddhist remains were constructed here between the 1st and 5th century BC, and this place became a UNESCO heritage site in 1980. And the final destination that we would recommend to you is in the largest province of Pakistan, which is Balochistan, and it's a place that is very close to Quetta. This place is called Meherghar, and it is believed to be founded in 7000 BC. It's considered to be a Neolithic site, and it is one of South Asia's earliest sites where evidence of farming and herding was found. Given we have highlighted the important cultural sites within Pakistan for you, let's now move on to discuss the visa application. For the Pakistan visa application, you will basically need 6 major documents, and we will go on to describe these in detail. And then another major document is your application form, and we'll also show you how to fill that out. So let's start with the most important document, which is basically your passport. Your passport has to be original, the signature on that document has to be yours, and it needs to have at least 6 months validity. Okay, now moving on, you will need 4 2x2 photographs. These have to have a white or plain background and make sure that your ears are exposed in this particular photograph. Other special documents that you might need include a copy of your driver's license. The address on your driver's license must match in all of your documents. And it would be preferable if you can enlarge it or resize it to make sure that the picture itself is much clearer. Of course, you will need an official invitation. This is the letter of invitation that will be given by your sponsor in Pakistan. You must explain your relationship with the sponsor and the purpose of travel. Moving on, departure information. For that, you will need a computer-generated flight itinerary from the airline or from your travel agency, or a simple copy of the airline tickets can also suffice. There are a few special instructions that we also have. So a single or double entry visa will be valid from 3 months to a year for a 30-day stay. And you will need approval from the Pakistani government. And as soon as the consulate receives this approval, then your application will be processed. With all of these 6 documents sorted, let's move on to the visa application form.
Now I'll be going over the visa application form for the Pakistani visa. So now, as you can well see here, it's a game of passports, right? You need your own passport, you need the passports of your immediate family, and you need the passports of the people you're applying with, right? And also it's important to have your travel itinerary with you, which we talked about in the previous part of the video, because that's gonna come in right now, right? So the first part is pretty general stuff: what type of visa you're applying for, your duration of stay, nothing that would cause a headache over here, right? But there's just one thing: you have to make sure that this part is synchronized with the rest of your travel itinerary. It's more of a test over here, right? So let's move on to section 1, the applicant's details. Now fill this as exactly it is mentioned in your passport. It has to be the same thing, right? So let's move down. More stuff that's on your passports, your national identity card. If you need one, it's fine. If you don't have one on you right now, you can fill this part as well, right? You also have to focus on your passport details over here. What type of passport you have is pretty important. Usually ordinary, unless you're a government agent or working for the government or something, right? Then you just fill out your contact information here: where do you work, your cell phone number, country of origin, etc., etc., right? Now this is the part which I call the economics of it, right? So is your visit sponsored by someone? Is a company calling you, or is someone else calling you from Pakistan? If so, you give the details here. But if not, don't worry, right? You can focus on your profession here, and you can write you about yourself, that what do you essentially do at the end of the day. And if you work on the military or something, right, well, things can get a bit tricky here. Well, not tricky to that extent, right? You just write more details, be more open about it. Okay, so moving on. Now then, you give a holistic view of the jobs you have held in the past, everything, designation, department, etc., etc. And if you're applying from a third country, like this is not the country where you're from, then you specify that as well. Now this is here. Now with that, we're done with you. Now this is the part where I talked about having the passports of your immediate family members, right? So this is going to be utilized over here. You're going to write everything down, and if you have immediate family as well, you have to write down their details as well, right? And then, if you remember, I also told you to have the passports of the people you're applying with. And this is the part where it gets utilized over here at the end of the day. So once you move down, you'll see more economics of it. Do you have a bank account in Pakistan? Highly unlikely, but if you do, just be open about it, right? And then we just come on to the travel history part over here. So have you ever visited Pakistan during 5 last year? I hope so. But if not, well, you're filling out this visa application form, right? And then you just mention all the other countries you have been to over the past, and you just fill everything out over here. And now this is something, wow, negative. So have you ever been refused a visa? I hope not, but if you have, don't worry about it. Just write everything down. If you have been deported or removed, write that down as well. Be as open about it as possible, right? And then you just figure out this declaration over here. I declared that the information is given to the best of my knowledge. I hope so. And if you think that's the case, well, finish off this application form by signing here and dating it here. Okay?